2017 Astro-Tarot forecast. My name is Charla from Astrology.com, and today we'll be talking about what the stars have in line for you in the year 2017, and also what the messages that Spirit has for you through the cards. So the first thing I want to just say right off the bat, and if you've read any of my horoscopes, then you know that 2017 is a big year for you, and with changes in your relationships and trying to redefine yourself within your relationship, and also taking account of what exactly it is that you need within your relationships. Are you happy within your relationship? Do you feel like your partner is helping to accommodate the balance of the relationship? Are you giving more than you're receiving? Are you receiving more than you're giving? Is your partner unhappy with you? For some of you who are single, this is going to be about putting yourself out there and testing out the relationship waters once again. For Leo and Aquarius, I think a lot of you have either been stuck in a rut in your relationship, or have just been in new territory with relationships for the past 8 years or so. You went through a tough time with Uranus and Saturn right before the cardinal cross started, and the cardinal cross started just as the Aquarius and Leo eclipses were ending in 2008, and so it was like all of a sudden there were these changes in relationship, and then you've had this hard sort of trying time. Some of you with health, some of you with work, some of you in maintaining financial stability through these years, the past 8 years, and some of you have just seemed stuck because what that cardinal cross did was it created a photograph in time. And just as you take a picture with a camera and the essence of that photograph continues to stay there, like if the camera flashes even in your eyes and you sort of see like, oh, this remnant left over, and it takes a while for it to fade. That's the same type of energy that sort of hit us all, especially if you have cardinal signs in your chart around 2008. And so that energy is taking a while to dissipate, and it's still finding its way out the door. So here we are again, back in the Leo Aquarius eclipses, and these eclipses are really now, it's like you've been on this long review of what you've wanted in relationships, and now they're coming forward to say, okay, time's up. Time for it to change. Did you learn anything from that last one? Was that long enough for you? What have you learned from the relationships that you've had since 2008? Do you really feel like you're in a happy place with being productive in your life? Are your relationships and your emotions stable enough to be productive and fulfill your purpose in life? Because that's what we're all here for. God didn't put us here just to say, oh, here, let's have a blissful, romantic relationship and everything's going to be perfect. And when it doesn't work out, then all of a sudden, the sky is falling. That's not the way it is. We're learning through our relationships, and we're learning through other people. And we're getting guidance from everyone that we come into contact with, because a lot of our relationships, especially our soulmate relationships and our twin soul relationships, even our kindred spirit relationships, are all holding up a mirror to ourselves, and they're helping us to build our soul to the best and highest frequency that we can be, one that is less ego-oriented. And I know that you Leos are definitely ego-oriented, but the last decade has kind of been about allowing your ego to fall to the needs of others. Same thing with Aquarius. I just got through kind of giving the same message to Aquarians, because that's what it's all about, is allowing that inner ego to die. And Pluto is in Capricorn, and your sixth house, to really help you gain a better understanding of your reason for being in physical form. It's allowing you to feel all of those sort of aches, pains, the burden of hard work, the burden of standing up for yourself, of being on your own 2 feet, of allowing yourself to be vulnerable even. And in discovering a new work for a new purpose, because although we have one overall purpose in life, that purpose is constantly evolving And it's constantly allowing us to become a better person through our work and service to others. And if we want to get right down to it, that's what our life is about. It is about work and service here. And attaining that Christ consciousness, where you are willing to be generous, where it's not about your ego. It's not about all the attention being on you all the time. Now, I know you guys like to make a scene. You like to be the best of the best, and you like to dress up. I do too. I understand it. Got it. But there comes a time where we form this foundation within ourselves that allows us to put those things away when necessary. That everything that we do and see is not through the filter of the lens of ourself, but it's through the lens of compassion. It's through the lens of generosity, and those things are all what essences of love, aren't they? So the universe is trying to create a much more loving perspective through all of us, and allowing us to let our egos fall. And does this mean that you can take down all of the parameters and all the boundaries outside of yourself and just give yourself to other people? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is about defining your boundaries, but allowing yourself to reach past those boundaries when you are available, when your strength is built up enough to help other people. And so we can't allow people just to take over us, right? Because then we wouldn't even be here. We wouldn't even be here to do the work, right? So we have to allow those boundaries to gather around us, but then still reach out to other people. To set our hopes and goals that are more or less less of the ego is what I'm trying to say. And, figuring out how we can find healthy and productive relationships that encompass all of the above that I just talked about. So the first part of the year is going to be colored by the eclipses, as will be the second half. So that's what I'm going to talk about first. And so the first eclipse is going to come on February 10th or 11th, and that is going to be in your house of self. It's going to be in Leo at 22 degrees. And this is a lunar eclipse, so it's going to produce some type of, emotional reaction maybe from you. The planets are actually in pretty good agreement during that time, so there may be some long-distance communication or communication over the internet during that time, communication regarding legalities that allows you to put your emotions forward. But then again, it's going to be about an ending, and when it happens along the 1st and 7th axis, it's not only an ending within ourselves, it's within our relationships. So I'm going to go back a minute and talk about the Mercury retrograde that took place in December, and that Mercury retrograde was conjunct Pluto in your work and health sector, and it also opposed your 12th house, which is all of these hidden subconscious, even guilt, even it's all those things. And of course it can produce illness as it falls on our house of health, and it affects our daily lives, our routines, and our work and service. So you may have felt sort of stuck in that way, or feel like you couldn't make headway with your health, or maybe with eating healthy or exercising, any of those things. And you just sort of felt under the weather until you reached January 27th. And things slowly began to turn. Mercury came out of the shadow, and Mercury crossed Pluto again. So that in January has really helped you to, or it's helping you to open up to another person, to let people in and not be so closed off. You're sort of coming out of the shadows a little bit, and trying to regain focus on the future. Now that eclipse in February, that lunar eclipse in your house of self, that's saying, okay, something definitely happened, maybe even within your relationships, that affected you emotionally. But it's also allowing you to take note and sort of ticking off the box of, okay, I don't want to be this way anymore. This is not a relationship I want, or this is what I need in a relationship, or hey, I'm lonely and I want another relationship. For some of you singles, that may be what it is, or just feeling like I'm never going to have another relationship again. I can never have what I want. I can't work things out in a relationship. There seems to be always some surprising factor. Well, Leo, you're always going to have a surprising factor in your relationships. They're always going to be exciting, which is why I love you, Leos. And I'm an Aquarius myself. And so Uranus is my ruling planet, and it's also the ruling planet of your relationship. So you sort of crave that excitement. Whether you know it or not, you're attracting it to you. And so knowing that you need that, but also knowing that what the planets have been like since 2008, and knowing that you need some sort of stability in your life, you have to really come to terms with what it is that you need within relationships. And the first part of this year is going to be a review to help you understand that, because we have that eclipse there, and then we have another eclipse at the end of February, and this is in Pisces. And this is a solar eclipse, so it's lighting up your 8th house of intimacy, death, divorce, debt. Some of you are going to be moving forward with divorces and ending a relationship. Some of you are going to find a new sexual partner and maybe bring in some of that excitement. But this eclipse is conjunct Neptune, and so this is more of a romantic, dreamy influence. You can't really see through the fog of this eclipse. And at the same time that this eclipse is going on in Pisces, Mars is conjunct Uranus, so it's really bringing in this, boost of energy from your 9th house, which is internet. Could be you're talking to someone over the internet. This could be having to do with something that is legal. You may, all of a sudden find yourself faced with a court situation, or perhaps you're taking an ex back to court for child support. You could be finding yourself over the next 6 months having to adjust to a lesser degree of child support. Think of all the possible things that you could be doing, but overall, it's about reorganizing your finances and finding intimacy within relationships and trying to balance your income and self-esteem with these issues, with these financial issues, and within your relationships. So before we get started, I'm going to talk about the Venus retrograde in a minute, but I want to look at the cards here and see. This is kind of what I've laid out as the first part of the year, and this being the second half. So the first part of the year, let's see what we have going on from Spirit. Right away, I see some career accolades coming up. This is about you moving forward with different career situations. You're wanting to really make your dreams come true very quickly with this financial security. I do think that there's someone around you that can help you. The Emperor is here, and we have divine guidance beside of him. So this is more about you being focused on finding new opportunities. Even within your relationships, about you going forward quickly and going for your dreams. And then looking over here, I can see that there are definitely some love cards here available. So this may be you sort of taking the reins and taking control about making your dreams come true and really trying to find this new beginning with your career. Definitely you have Jupiter in Libra this year. So this is a lot about legal communication even. This is about, you finalizing things in a relationship and moving forward very quickly in order to gain this financial independence or resource. And this may involve a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces male. He may be offering you, by the middle of the year, you may have someone coming in like that even, that can offer you this sort of excitement and romanticism that you're dreaming of. But I think the first part of the year is definitely getting a handle on your finances, sorting out what it is that you need to carry on, gaining that stability for what you're going to need to carry you on through the rest of the year. And it's showing that your investments, if you've recently, worked hard, to sort of break ground in your career sector if you've started a new job, you're finally going to make some headway here. And, you know, we're sort of really determining which direction you're going to go in planting seeds in the future, because you're making progress. And then here we have you, I would say this is about March or April time frame, finding ways to move forward very quickly. Now there is a Venus retrograde March 6th to April 15th, and this is going to retrograde in Aries and go back into Pisces, Venus. So Venus, for you, guides your communication. I mean, of course, it's about your relationships, but it guides your communication. And it also guides your career. So there's a lot of communication and career focus here, I think, for you, and really trying to get something off the ground. And it's almost like you've worked hard, maybe for years even, trying to finalize something. And then finally you get an opportunity that you've been waiting for that comes along to really, you know, like I said, get that off the ground and to provide financial security for you. And it seems like you're planning for financial security. You may be leaving one job and going to another here. I think that there is going to be this water person. This may be a couple of people. It's a male energy. Of course, it could be female. It could be someone who has more of a feminine energy. But this is about the announcement of love or compassion. This is a compassionate person. This is a person who is generous. He may be, or she may be, introspective. They're more about understanding. They want to understand where you're coming from, and they're willing to help you, you know, find the truth to some matter. They're willing to help you leave one situation and go to another. And I think that you're going to have some grief in leaving one of these situations. There's going to be some worry, some anxiety. But you have the Ace of Swords here. This is shown by the end of the year. You're like, you know, look at me now. This is you being able to cut through everything that you need to cut through, especially within your relationships, because this is swords, and of course that's air, and your partner sign is air. So you're able to really maybe cut through the romanticism. Sometimes we can get caught up in, you know, being overly romantic, and especially for us females, this is about over romanticizing relationships and expecting, you know, the white horse and the knight to come in and we're going to live in the castle happily ever after. Now, what in the heck are we going to do when we get in the castle? I mean, because it's going to get boring after a while, Leo. So when you're facing these relationships, think about that. Think about, what is the truth of what I need in a relationship? Do I really want somebody who's, you know, so overly romantic? I mean, it seems like someone's available to you. You know, and what is the difference in emotional immaturity and maturity? Is emotional immaturity someone that comes in and promises you the moon and they're not able to deliver? Or is it an older person who's offering stability, but yet you may just be dissatisfied? You've got to sort of find, with you needing that excitement in your relationships, you've got to find a middle ground there. You've got to find someone who is, likes to be wild and free and have like all of these date nights and flowers and pretty things to come in. But you also need someone who's mature. It says, hey, you know, the main thing that's happening here is love. It may not always be exciting, and there may be some nights where you're sitting on the couch watching reruns, but you have to be willing to work for it, and you have to be willing to go for it, and you have to be willing to accept someone who is less than perfect. And I think that there is going to be someone who comes along this year who's offering kindness, but for some reason you're, you know, I don't know, it's like you are dissatisfied with it. You don't really want to, he's too nice, or she's too nice, or this energy's too nice, and it just is boring. And so that's where you sort of have to get a hold of yourself here and try to redefine what it is that you're looking for in a relationship. Now, for some of you are leaving a relationship. Let me just be honest and outright. There are eclipses coming again this summer in Aquarius and Leo. So that Venus retrograde, back to that Venus retrograde, from March until June. It's really from March until April, but I say let that energy pass. So don't make big decisions in relationships. Don't start a new one from March to June. I can tell you I told you so a million times, Leo. Just please don't do it. Please don't make big purchases because Venus rules love and money. But I think you may be reviewing an old relationship during that Venus retrograde from March to June. So maybe you're going to really try to, look back to an older relationship. But I think for most Leos, this is about looking back at a lifestyle. Do you really want this lifestyle again? Is this something that you're going to feel comfortable with? How are you going to become financially responsible and financially secure? Saturn has been in your 5th house for the last couple of years, and it'll be there until December. And so for some of you, this is maybe a burden with children, or feeling like, not a burden, we love our children, right? But maybe having to go that extra mile with your children or be that extra support for your children. For some of you, this has been preventing romance. I mean, it's like it wants you to bring stability to romance. That's so boring, right? I mean, who wants to do that? But I think you'll get through what I'm saying about the lesson and really discerning between two types of people here, and understanding relationships are kind of boring sometimes. But it's just like a holiday. Relationships are like a holiday. It's up to us to bring it, right? It's up to us to bring everything that we possibly can, and still we can't determine if someone's going to be sick on Christmas and the whole holiday is going to be spoiled, right? So we just have to enter life with a celebratory mood, and I know you haven't felt like it. A lot of us haven't, but we have to be able to bring it. Life is what we make it. So when you think of your relationship, think of Christmas. Think of working towards this goal and getting excited about it, and how you go out shopping for Christmas presents. Think about doing little things in your relationship, whether the other person is giving or not, because generosity is about giving and not receiving, right? And that doesn't mean to say, I'm going back to that same thing. That doesn't mean to define boundaries. If after a while you're giving everything and you're not seeing anything in return, it's time to get your sword out. You know what I'm saying? You can't just let that go on indefinitely. Life itself is a balancing game. It's not black or white. There's a lot of gray in there. And it seems like, the gray is what we're willing to accept. That's where we're willing to go and give more at times, and then at other times we need more. And I hate when people say marriage is 50-50. It's never 50-50. And sometimes you're giving 80 and the other person's giving 20, but then you got to go back and let them give to you as well. And whenever you're giving more over an extended amount of time, that's when people grow apart. And commitment, I think for commitment to work, I'm certainly not one to give relationship advice, but through everything that I've observed for commitment to work, you got to be there through the boring stuff too, the stuff when you're just not feeling it. And I know you Leos are loyal. You're loyal to a fault, right? It's like, you've got a friend who's not perfect, and you're like, so what? So what? They're perfect to me. Why are you talking about them, right? And that's why we love you Leos, because, and I'm the same way. I'm an Aquarius. I understand it. But you got to find this line about what it is that you need on an intimate level. And we're talking about soulmates, twin flames, kindred spirits. You need something right now, Leo. I can feel what you need. And you're needing someone that's ride or die with you, but somebody who's offering excitement, someone who's going to be loyal, and someone who's going to give you that attention that you need. But hopefully what you have learned over the last decade, and if you're a young Leo, maybe not so much, but if you're an older Leo, what you have learned is that not only do you need attention, you need to return that attention to other people. And even life extends way beyond relationships. It's about a purpose and a mission. And I don't want to get back and repeat myself over what I've just covered. So hopefully that just got through to some of you, and you understand that, understand where you're coming from. And that there are good things coming to you, but you need to be vigilant, and you need to be active, and you need to reach out and ride out on your chariot. Sometimes that chariot doesn't come and pick you up. It's you've got to make the decision. And you can see that he is drawing a carriage that has a black and white horse on it. And that, sometimes you have to have a melding of the old in with the new. Melding of the old in with the new to make the best career and relationship decisions. And also, this is about making a choice. You need to make a choice here. You need to make a choice in your career field, I'm saying, and you need to make a choice in your relationships. And let's see what else we can see. Now we have Jupiter in October. Well, first I want to talk about these eclipses again. The eclipses that are coming in August the 7th is the lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Aquarius, and that's in your relationship sector. And that's going to bring an ending for you in one relationship. Now, that relationship may be with a female, so maybe this is for more male Leos than it is for female Leos. It could be for both. And I would say it's going to start as early as probably the end of June and in through July, because we're going to have some more cardinal stuff come up then with some new and full moons there that are going to try people. And for you, it's going to try it in your house of secrets, and it's going to affect your health in through there. So in through late May into June, early July, what to keep an eye on your health, Leo. And then all of this stuff is this may have to do with your work too, and your day-to-day life, your routines, your pets. You're going to experience an ending in your relationship sector on August the 7th, by August the 7th. But like I said, it could happen a month before. Lunar eclipses are active often a month before, and it takes about 6 months of adjustment. And then there will be a solar eclipse. So that ending happens in your relationship, and then all of a sudden you're allowed this new beginning, August the 21st in Leo, which is going to set you on a new path. But it comes at 29 degrees of Leo, and 29 degrees always signifies like a finality. It's an ending of something. So for some of you, maybe you're going back to a relationship and you're really trying to put your best foot forward. You're trying one last time, and it's going to last in through the end of the year. Maybe you're trying to bring the romance. You're going to try to live through the boredom. You're going to try to, even though you feel dissatisfied, make it through this eclipse energy. And but I'm going to tell you, this is going to go into next year. We have more Leo Aquarius eclipses next year. And so next year, you're still going to be redefining your relationships, and you're also going to be working on your health next year also. And on top of that, I want to tell you that as of the end of this year, Saturn is going to move into Capricorn, and it's really going to place a lot of pressure and responsibility on you to work hard with work, with your health, with pets, with animals. This is a heavy burden. We have not experienced a planetary transit like we're about to experience from 2018 to 2020 in quite some time. And we're talking, this is the same energy as World War I, as World War II, as the Great Depression. This is the energy that came around because ultimately Saturn's going to conjunct Pluto in 2020. And so there's a climb to that. And if you know anything about transits, you know it's the climb that brings the tension. Once the degrees finally meet, that's not usually where you see the explosion. It's the climb up to it. And so from 2018, from December, we're going to start experiencing the climb of Saturn conjunct Pluto. And that is a heavy, heavy energy for all of the world. I can't express it to you enough. And for you, that's going to be in your your health and work sector. So the best way to combat that energy would just be to try to find something, a career that's going to keep you busy, that you're going to need to work towards a big goal in, to keep that energy off your health. Because when it falls in a health sector, it's going to really try to undermine your health. It's gonna fall on your physical body, and you're gonna really need to understand how to manipulate that energy and how to keep it off of you. But once the Saturn starts getting closer to Pluto, that's really going to bring these big life-changing situations with your work and health. And for some of you, you're going to be battling some health problems, and you're going to need to be stable in your relationships before that comes around. Now, with Jupiter moving into Scorpio in October, your home and family is going to be expanding. Scorpio is your, I'm sorry, my phone keeps ringing. Scorpio is your fourth house of home, and so it's going to really bring about some changes within the home. Your home's going to be growing. It's going to be expanding. You may have family members moving in. You may be moving into a new housing situation. You may be selling property. You may be gaining property. You may be building a home. All of these things are really going to start picking up. And then in December, that's in October, and it lasts for a year. And then you're going to have all this hard work to do. So for you, this is going to, when you're looking at it from the scope of relationships and these relationships taking place this summer, you want someone to help you build a firm foundation. You want someone who definitely is ride or die, who's definitely ready to say, you know what, no matter what, even if we get bored here, I'm here because we're working on a goal together, and you may need me to take care of you in your health, with your health. You may need me to help you with your projects. You may need me to hold down the home front while you're working hard, while you're chasing your career goals. All of these are relationship opportunities that take place this summer, are going to help you understand how you may need to work through this energy and who you choose as a partner. And soulmates sometimes come to us that make things easier. And then sometimes we have twin flames that come around who actually mirror. I had just thought of this because I looked down beside me at the table. I have a mirror. They offer a reflection of who we are. And I think you have to understand who you are inside, and what are all of the things that you hide from someone else that can really come up as an obstacle for you later. Are there things that you like that you probably shouldn't like? Like, does it turn you on that someone is married but they're looking at you? Because that's a flaw. And so you have to turn that around, or else you're just going to attract married men. And that's always going to bring karma and baggage into a relationship. Are you overly picky? Do you want constant attention? Because you're going to draw someone who's selfish themselves and wants, constant attention. You're going to draw the narcissist around. All of those deep hidden things that only you know that you have, that is what attracts energy. And so you have to be aware of those things. And once you've made that clear in your conscience, then you are allowed to set your boundaries around who or what you want, and people will recognize those boundaries. When you don't have those boundaries up, then you're definitely going to let those people come in. And they're going to know that they can come in, and they're going to come straight for you, just like this Chariot here. So make sure this Chariot is headed in the right direction, Leo, for your dreams to come true. So define those dreams. Do you want the excitement? Do you want the serious partner? Do you want the truth here? This is the truth. So, but on a mundane level, looking at these cards, I think there is someone coming in for you. I think that you're going to want to, leave this sort of, I've got a tower here on top of it. So there's something that you're wanting to leave for something else. For some of you, you are going to be relieving a relationship for another person. You just want freedom, and you're wanting kindness, and you're wanting to work towards those goals that we just talked about. And for some of you, this person may have to do with a boss. This could be an authority figure. For some of you, this goes back to you leaving a job for something else, for another one. And maybe it's being hard. But I think once you make that decision, you're going to go very, very quickly towards this other person or towards this job. And Mercury retrogrades several times this year. We have the Mercury retrograde, of course, I talked about December 19th. There's one coming April the 9th to May the 3rd in Taurus. And this is going to retrograde in your 10th house, from your 10th house of career to your 9th house of legalities and publishing. So it's almost like the Venus retrograde hits, and which is from March to April, and then all of a sudden you have the Mercury retrograde hit as well, from April to May. So it's like you're doing all of this reviewing. The whole world is. We're all under these retrogrades, and we just came out of one. We're in December, and then you're going to be trying to move forward in your relationships and understanding how to make this balance work out in your income and your security. And then all of a sudden you find yourself reviewing your career again. And so it may be from this career that you decide, hey, I don't want this anymore. I want to move forward with this career, and also with relationships. I do think that this King of Cups here, who's a Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces, can be of help to you. But it can also bring a bit of worry and grief, but I think it's all going to work out. I think that is going to work out by the end of the year, and I think that you're going to, some of you may be looking for an internship, and you may be trying to gain a new skill set, and I think you're going to have the right person to oversee you, but it's going to require you walking away from something. You're going to have to leave something behind to get something new. And I see it as being a painful experience for you, Leo. I'm sorry to say that. But on the other hand, I'm excited for you. Like I said, the Ace of Swords up here, this is look at me now. You finally get this new contract. I have a new contract here on the table. And one cycle has ended. Even though it brought anxiety, one cycle has ended, and then now we have this new contracts and moving forward by the end of the year. So, maybe that October time frame. I think for relationships, there's a lot of you going to figure out you've got to leave something behind and to gain a new one. Some of you may be getting married. Some of these contracts may be marriage contracts, and building a new life together, and finally turning your back on what it is that you thought you had. There's a lot of stress here over money that I see as well. But I think that there is a new career field coming, a new job opening coming, and it may come very quickly. And with this here, this sort of links that over to here. So even with that Venus retrograde, there's going to be a few of you who's going to get a job offer in late February, maybe early March. But I don't think that you're going to know what it's about. Like, you're going to think it's one thing, but it's going to turn out to be something else. But this is Spirit here is saying it's going to all work out for you. By the end of the year, you're going to get this new contract. There may be some stops and starts in through here, but I think the themes are pretty clear for you. For 2017, leaving a job, going to another one for some of you, gaining financial stability, standing on your own 2 feet, realizing that you're not perfect and that you can't make everything about yourself, and that in order to have a relationship, you need to open up to someone else, that life is not always a party, and everybody's not romantic all the time, but it is what we make it and what we bring to it, and that we have to work at it, and that some of you that are involved in relationships that are no longer working and are so material-based and ego-centered, you're going to be letting those go, and you're going to be looking forward to a new relationship that's coming in for you. And, finally standing up for yourself And I think this could be elusive. I think you're going to feel like you don't want to make the decision, but the decision is going to happen. And it's going to happen because of your willingness to communicate. That's going to be it in a nutshell. So as far as money goes, hang on to your money. I see some money coming in. I see that this, whatever this is at the end of the year where you're changing all this around, you're going to need to find balance here. And you're going to need to really focus on the goal. And definitely love offers. Look at that. Love offer coming in. This energy from this male may also be, or this other person may be like Cancer mixed with Aquarius. Or Scorpio mixed with Aquarius. It's a water sign and air sign together. Those are the two signs that I'm getting. Definitely some romantic offers, the discovery of the truth or the announcement of a truth. So I hope that this has been of some help to you, Leo. I always check out my horoscopes. I do free monthly horoscopes, and I spend a lot of time on those horoscopes. And I'm not always able to edit them the best that I can because this is not my main job here. But I do want you to be aware that they are free and that you can get plenty of advice there. Also follow me on Facebook at CH Astrology. And I also have an Instagram page, CH Astrology Light, if you just want to add it. Sometimes I put up little reminders about eclipses and, you know, pictures of the energy there on Instagram. That's what it's purposed for. And I also offer private readings. Now I offer these types of readings, which are the Astro-Tarot Readings. And I'm running a special right now. So if you want to look on my order page on my website at chastrology.com, you can. But I also offer very in-depth astrological readings that, yeah, I've been studying astrology for over 15 years. And I really, especially over the last decade, have kind of, sharpened my skill set a lot. But I think it's definitely helpful to get a lunar and solar overview at the very least for the year to come that helps you to know your new and full moons, what the aspects of the planets are, any types of retrogrades that are coming, how that affects your natal chart, because each of us have our own personal photograph of the universe of where the planets were at the time we were born, and it sort of outlays our future. And as the planets transit, as we take a picture of the planets transiting around that, we're able to really see the energies that we're coming into contact with, and we know the subjects that we're going to face over our lifetime. And when we narrow it down to the scope of the year, it becomes a powerful tool. It becomes a powerful resource for knowing what's coming ahead. So you're not just always rocking, around in the dark. I know we do have free will, but at least you're able to see the energies that are coming forward. Like, hey, I'm going to be dealing with relationships during that time, or I'm going to be dealing with sickness during that time. Those sorts of things. So if you'd like a personal reading, check out my personal reading page on the website. Again, that's chastrology.com. And I'll see you next time. Bye, Leo.